Hello, my dear Aquarius. This is your love and spirituality reading for the time between June 16 till June 30, 2017, with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I use the Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Zero Marketing, and I will start shuffling your cards. And I call the Divine with love and light, and I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Aquarius viewers. So you had a Hanged Man falling out. That's always a sign of spiritual growth, and sometimes not in the way that we want them to. It's being challenged in a way that makes us grow. So, I want my dear Aquarius to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. I also want to take the chance to tell you that the Sun in Gemini is opposing Saturn, moving retrograde in Sagittarius. So the days until Sun moves into Cancer will be extra fiery with Gemini-Sagittarius combination. The Sun will continue opposing Saturn in Sagittarius when it moves into Cancer. And the Cancer-Sagittarius combination represents the Chariot. 2 opposite forces that needs to come together to get the show on the road, while Saturn, the strict teacher, will be opposing the Sun until June 24th. June 21st, we will have the midsummer solstice over the tropical of Cancer, and June 24th, we will also have the new moon in Cancer, joined there with the Sun, Mercury, and Mars. So, very powerful. Venus will be in Taurus this period. Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn is still in retrograde, and Jupiter is moving direct since June 10. For Aquarius, not much is happening. You are now in the 5th house of joy and spontaneous self-expression, risk-taking. Sounds adventurous here. It's summer and all. In the North Hemisphere anyway. Okay, so I'll tune in for a few seconds. Okay. So my dear Aquarius, this is your future, and this is your now, and this is the past. So the now is probably the 2nd half of June 2017, but whenever you watch this is probably the exact right time to see it. You can also see this reading several times during this period. You will probably understand more as time progresses. The first card for you is King of Wands. It's Leo. We saw the Queen of Wands jumping a little bit in your reading. So very fiery energy here. Queen of Wands is usually Aries. This is usually Leo. We have the Sagittarius energy. That's very fiery. King of Wands is a very competent person, kind of a leader personality, can also have a great imagination, being able to envision a future for all of us. They can be inventors, they can also be strong political leaders, they can be boss at work, they can be that fiery girl down the hall that always come with the new visions, the new ideas, how to fix things, the problem solver. King of Wands is the creator, the front runner, the pioneer, you having power enough to create your own destiny. Very beautiful. The next card for you is the Devil. Oh God, the Devil together with the King of Wands is very fiery. This can be a person being jealous, creating drama, creating difficulties in your life, being abusive. It's those kind of persons that dictatorship, world rulers with a iron fist. It's the masculine shadow here. All the things with the masculinity that could be used for very great things, but when they are used in the wrong kind of way, they are diabolic. So it's power junkies, persons wanting to control other people's lives, not only their own vision, but other people's vision. My way or the highway, it needs to be in the way I said it. Those controlling people that doesn't let their spouse go to the store without having a long interrogation. So it's a little bit dangerous here. Can be abusive, can be a person excavating their shadow, going with the light here, inside here, to check out, okay, who am I really? What have I been hiding from myself? It can be also you excavating your own strength, finding your own ability to say no, to put boundaries. We'll see where this is going. It looks very feisty anyway. The next card here is Four of Wands, so it doesn't have to be that bad, I guess. The devil can sometimes be needs or parts of yourself that you haven't really been recognizing, and that's actually a part of you, and it might actually be your creative skill that you have been put in a corner, because here you have the Four of Wands, being able to envision a future. Being able to see things and then start doing them, start creating them. Your thoughts become the house you live in. So we see this is still very fiery. It's very like primordial earth, not really have been cooling down. So it looks like a little bit of hell, but you have created your own heaven here. So I don't think this is all bad. I think this is really good. Even if you have an abusive person in your life that might be very dramatic, they are actually showing you a part of yourself that you can use to build something good in your life. They are taking control. They are manipulating. They are taking action. Are you ready to do the same thing and actually bring your vision into truth instead of maybe their vision? Sometimes we need a little challenging or a very challenging, like kind of jerk or bad person in our life to make us see ourselves. They come out sometimes as distorted versions of our own shadow, enhanced and blown up, so we will see it very clearly. I think this is still something you can use to build something good in your life. Watch and observe. If you have a kind of maniac controlling people in your life, how do they use power to get their will through, and how can you use it, maybe in a more loving kind of way, but to make this what you want instead of feeling helpless. The next card for you is actually the Queen of Wands. Aries. Aries is connected to the Emperor card, the ruler. This is, of course, a very fiery person as well, kind of an Amazonas warrior. No one will want to argue with her. She's also very wise, like usually very experienced. She knows how to do things and do them right, and she doesn't really like to be questioned. But in the same time, she's very compassionate and warm and generous, and she wants what's best for everyone. But sometimes she thinks that she is the one that knows what's best for everyone else. But she's very good with raising children, also raising children to be leaders, because she puts like quite of beautiful boundaries to them with love. That's in this way, like they get responsibility, but and freedom, but they need to do the right thing. They need to choose the right thing. So she's giving them freedom under responsibility, and therefore teaching people to get grown up rather quickly. So this might be a skill that you can use not only towards children in your surrounding. Maybe if you have a difficult person in your surrounding, you can become more like this, like give them consequences if they do a bad choice, but give them a lot of responsibility. If you have a person that are opposing you in some way, maybe they don't want the same thing you do. Let them go on their course and let them investigate that possibility, and then see if you want to still tag along with them or not. You can't really control other people. You need to let them live their own life, and to continue to live your own life in the same way. Sometimes we go together with people like this, and we come together, and then we need to split apart again because we have different goals. Just let people go if you can't really control them. You can tell them very clearly what you want. Like this girl, she's pointing with her whole hand here, and she's very expressive, and she don't like when people crosses her, and she will let them know it. She's doing them that courtesy of telling them when something has gone wrong. The Queen of Wands can be very revengeful. If you crosses her, she can be like quite a bitch, actually. But here it seems like this is coming out of self-love. So I don't think that you're acting bitchy. I think that you have found a way to take control over yourself, and in the same way let other people rule their life in their way that they want them to. We don't have the same it's like we don't live in the same principles or in the same culture or with the same ideas. It's kind of live and let live energy here. It's very fiery, so very individualistic, like people want to go their own way and build their own future after their own head. Let them do this. Let them try it out. When it comes dressed card like this, like a queen and a king together, there's usually some kind of teaming up, either a solid relationship, solid friendship, partnership, people marrying. We usually marry our shadow. We marry a part of ourselves that we're very attracted to, because we need to develop this side within ourselves. So whenever we marry a person, we kind of say to them that we will spend our rest of our life kind of investigating this shadow and getting to know it and integrate it into ourselves. And this is how we become more whole, by meeting people on the outside that have pieces of the puzzle that's fit into ourself, that will be ourself. We get to see ourselves on the outside. And sometimes with monogamous relationship, we want to honor this monogamy. Sorry for the misspelling, but mistranslation. But we want to stay in this couple, being in this couple, because it's honorable, and we want to be loyal, we want to be good persons. But sometimes it's time to go our separate ways, because we need to meet some new aspect of our shadow. But it definitely seems like someone has kind of find their shadow and actually enjoyed it a little bit, and feel stronger for it and more grounded, and it's like have found a new stability. Maybe you have totally changed your personality in some aspect, and you feel brand new. You have integrated this. The devil is a Capricorn as well. You have Leo, Capricorn here. This is Aries. So there's very headstrong signs here, very headstrong personalities. The next card is the Six of Coins, and I guess this is really what's needed in this situation, to be able to compromise a little bit and make balanced relationships. There's the green is standing for unconditional love, like something that are given like freely, like grass. It's just growing everywhere, leaves growing everywhere. It's an abundance. It's love that's given to us, oxygen that's being given to us just freely. So sometimes we put a lot of honor into being this, like unconditional in our love, and that's very beautiful. And we shouldn't really control other people, but we need to know that there's limits. We need to love ourselves in this way that this queen loves herself. She loves herself as much as she loves other people. She would never put herself down in the dirt for another person that wouldn't do the same thing for her. So this is about balance in relationship. See to that you are not doing too little or too much in your relationship. Try to make equality, because if one is over functioning and doing everything, the other one will be helpless and not being able to take responsibility, being spoiled, being a brat, being like no use for the other person or for other people in their surrounding. So don't spoil people. Let them test their wings. The Queen of Wands is very good on letting people testing their wings and proving their strength and proving their capacity and putting them into difficult situations that they need to manage. So don't spoil people in your surrounding. That's making them weak and helpless, and that's a way also of controlling other people, to make them weak and helpless and depending on you. That's a very it's a very cowardly way to love other people, to make them addicted to you. Let them love you if they do, and if they don't, let them leave. Let there be flow in your relationship. Sometimes we are more connected to one person, and in another situation we'll be more connected to other person. I'm not talking about infidelity here. If one is not aware of what's going on, that's a breach of trust, that's disloyalty, that's your shadow have been doing something. Sometimes when we are building up a new love, there can be a moment in time when we might need to have like more than one person in our life. We need to get to know this, but we shouldn't involve like too much of ourselves in that new relationship. When we want to be like deeply intimacy with another person, we need to say goodbye to one of, we need to make a decision. This is honorable, like this is justice, this is Libra. So if you love yourself, you can also love other in the same way, and give them the same treatment like you want to be treated. So when you are this fiery, you have a lot of power, you have a lot of energy. You can put it into one direction and things will create, and it's very beautiful with this green added here, so it's not getting like deserty like we see here with the green, also with this and it's water running here. That's helping up the situation. It's not looking very aggressive, but it's looking very goal oriented, very like a person being very decisive, like a person or persons wanting a thing very badly, and they are not going to cave until they get this. And sometimes this will split people apart, and sometimes it will make them come together in a common goal. And this is actually looking more like the last thing I said, coming together for a common goal, working together to build something together, also to excavate one's more darker sides and taking out how you can use those things that you actually didn't really like about yourself, and how you can find good use for them. Passion. This is very passionate, but still very level-headed. So I kind of like it. This was in the past, so for some of you watching in June, this might be happening now. Some kind of it's almost like three revolutionary leaders coming together, discussing something about new vision, something that will benefit all. But it's a mystery. Only you know what's going on. Here we have King of Coins. It's Capricorn again, like with the devil. And we now have two kings here and this devil. It's looking like a really power trip here. The King of Coins can be a little bit like a miser, like a person wants to have their things sorted out. They don't really care so much for others. Gated communities, people living in a castle, people not caring so much for refugees. But themselves, King of Coins, has a great shadow. Everything that they kind of want to keep out is something that they have deep within themselves. And when they can recognize this, they can kind of free the world from this hierarchy, like putting people being more worth than others. Because they think that parts of themselves are more worth than other parts of themselves. But if we can face our own shadow, then we can stop judging other people so much, because we know that we also have this trait within us. It's only like if we can use this trait for something good, or if we use it for something bad. You can use strength and like being able to handle weaponry in cases where you can liberate, but you can also use it to become a tyrant over other people. So it's kind of how you use your abilities. It's not that you have them. If you have them and you can see them clearly, we see the light is coming in here, if you can see your abilities clearly and know your strength and your weaknesses, and when you can turn weaknesses into strength in what situations, then you're really onto something, like becoming very grown up. The King's here, it's very grown up. It's like you have accomplished something. Something is fully grown, and maybe it's time to take it out to play and test, like make a test run. And underneath the Devil we have the Strength. So it seems like this is what you have been storing down in the basement with the Devil. Your shadows seem to be your strength. Aquarius people, if we can generalize, they are very logic. They don't like to be very passionate. They want to be strict, clear, and without so much emotions. Being able to make serious decisions from an above perspective. But this is something else. This is more animalistic. This is more passionate. This is more something divinely feminine growing inside of you, making you more than just a logic brain, making you more than just the 10% of your wicked logic mind. This is getting access to the whole being. The Strength is a card of animalistic desires and needs, your intuition, your instinct. It has been denied for quite some time. We were not supposed to find God to our own bodies. We were supposed to find them through authority, to other people telling us what to do. This is very revolutionary. This is very this is you finding God inside yourself, going inside your body, finding out what your needs are, what your soul's longing are, and start to make a plan for your life from that kind of point of view. Okay, so I need love, I need I maybe need attention, I need sex, I need adventure, I need a lot of people in my life, and how I'm going to get it is like I feel my heart race a little bit faster when I pass that person on the street. For Aquarius, it might be like I pass a very attractive person on the street, I will look the other way because I don't want to be swept away by emotions, or I don't want to step down from my high horses and show someone that I admire them, because they might not admire me, and that would be awful. So, and this is the other way, like starting to check people out, flirt with them, see what happens, getting out of control. It might be exactly what the doctor ordered for you, Aquarius. Getting like a little bit ignition. The card that comes very central is the Tower. So this is your old ego, the old stability. I think you have built something beautiful here, but it's not, apparently it's not exactly what the divine wants you to have. So there's a little bit tearing going to happen, a little bit more tearing. But the Tower can be from whispering, kind of the divine saying, well, don't you want to live your life more fully? To wrecking your car, so you will see that you are going in the wrong direction. It can be a big scale between those things. So here you have the stability, and here it's not. It's a house of cards. So your ego is a house of cards. This is what I said, this example with you don't want to show interest to other people, or show how much you care, or show how much something means to you, because you don't want people to get advantage over you. Maybe that is what's need to go. This kind of ego thing is getting you nowhere. If you can be more, like in this Strength card, do you think that this person, if she would flirt with someone and the guy say, well, you're not for me, you're not my type, do you think she will be heartbroken? No, probably not, because she loves herself and she's very grounded and mature and in full contact with the divine. So she doesn't need her ego. She doesn't need it. She won't be sad. She will be like, well, I don't control anyone and they don't control me. I just live my life fully, spread my seed, spread my my longing. And when she kind of aims towards something, she aims towards, she has a rather wide aim, so something will come to fruition, and that thing that come, it was the thing that was meant to be. Any person that you flirt with that's being bitchy, they were not for you, probably. Or maybe you like challenges, I don't know. The next card here is the Hermit, and it comes underneath the Queen of Wands. So it might be a part of you that think that it's better, you're better off alone, or you're better off not having emotions. That's making you more stronger, but actually it makes you a little bit more cold and a little bit more bitchier. But the Hermit is a good card. Sometimes you need to look inside. You have 8, 9. You need to look inside to find this, the more good qualities with the Fire Queen. She's not just there to kind of take her arrow and shoot dead everyone that passes into your territory. She's supposed to be there and tell you what you like and what you don't like. And sometimes we need to go even further within, like deeper in our own darkness, in the temple of our own body, to find our emotions. And there's cliffs here as well. I think you'll love those cliffs, because Aquarius like to be very grounded and solid in their decisions. So maybe you need to stay in those positions sometimes, just to be able to catch up with yourself, because it seems like things are happening very fiery and very quickly. And sometimes maybe you need some time alone to be able to adjust your compass, to know maybe you are kind of overwhelmed by all these things happening in your life, and you need to take a little bit time out. It doesn't have to be like months. It can be a day here and a day there. Just see to take things in your own pace, so you're not getting overwhelmed. And your newfound stability, that's a little bit more fiery and more passionate and more full of life and not so stale and dead and mummified, is getting, you're being able to keep it. So maybe if you're letting other people move away with you with this fiery passion too fast, you will lose footing, and maybe you need to find it again. It doesn't have to be worse than this. The next card is the 21, the World card. It's a very feminine card. It's closure and new beginnings. It's like when we die and being born again, and it's like something ends and something new comes. It's a little bit like this Kali energy. 21 World is more of an ending than actual death card. It's the ending of the whole major arcana. It's kind of when the Maya calendar ended and we got into this mess that we are in now, this human evolution. So one era ends and another one begins. So it seems like there's a new era for you, Aquarius, and some old karma is about to be erased. 6 of coins is ending of an old karma, like paying back. And this is when you have paid back, then you're free. You're free to do something new. So I think it's some kind of sacrifice of your own stubbornness, self-protection, being very strong, maybe putting yourself in an elevated position to the favor of others that need to go. And it might be very threatening for your whole survival, because this might be a survival skill that's very dear to your heart. And be careful with yourself. Take this step by step. You don't have to race this in one day. For some of you, this will happen, and then a longer vacation might be needed. But for others that are listening very quickly to the whispers of the tower, you can take this gradually start to meet other people's look over the square, or telling someone, well, I think you're right. I was wrong all the time. I didn't know how this happened, but thank you for enlightening me with this. That's the thing you can do to erase your ego and step into your soul, becoming more an emotional, mature person, not just a very logical one that's being able to make a judgment call, but actually one that's also very mature, very calm, very grounded, sure, knows themselves. The 21 World is sometimes also celebrating very feminine. It's very wavy, it's very creative, it's very passionate. It can be soulmates. Finally being able to connect in a more beautiful way, because you have lost your ego. It's not important to win anymore. It's more important to give. It's not so important what you can have, but what you can give. and also give in form and shape of life lessons. These are teachers, spiritual teachers. You are becoming the spiritual teacher to yourself and to others. So it's about not spoiling people also, not... Sometimes we need to give them what they actually need and not what they want, because this with making people having wings to fly, making them being able to grow up. This is Hermit energy is a little bit like a teenager, and Queen of Wands is a perfect mother to a teenager. She remembers how it was to be one, and she will be perfect with handling a teenager, and also know that they need to have like their revolution to be able to define themselves and become grown-ups. So it's a little bit like you are revolting from your own way of being, very collected, to becoming something more that's more fluid and spiritual and quick and alive. So I think this is great for you, Aquarius. The next card is Nine of Coins. Nine of Coins is being able to have still this inner stability. You don't have to give it all away. You don't have to be a beggar on the street. You can still have your own self-sufficientness, being able to take care of yourself whenever life outside becomes too difficult. Nine of Coins is being... The Hermit is kind of finding out that I were able to make it on my own. It wasn't so dangerous. I survived, and it's nice. I can do whatever I want. I can watch telly all night, or I can sleep in, or I can go to bed in the middle of the day, or I can go out in nature, just lying around for hours. Nine of Coins is a freedom. You find this freedom with yourself. It might be a freedom also when it comes to work and occupation. Maybe not being having a boss anymore, but becoming your own boss, creating some abundance for yourself. We have a lot of new job opportunities, things opening up. When people start to opening up to their own fiery inside, the things, their talents, opening up to the entrance to their own body, they will find out what they really like and don't like. They don't want to be slaves anymore. So starting your own company, or finding out that you're much more self-sufficient than you ever imagine, is something that's happening through the Kings here. You have been mastering the areas of fire, being able to create, earth, being able to keep and be grounded and solid. So Nine of Coins is very beautiful. This is a little pound here, and here we have the little Page of Cups. So your emotions are important too, to be able to connect with your emotions. This might be very scary for people that wants to be in control. They don't like to have an inner crying baby that wants a lot of stuff. But this is your gateway to your body and soul, so you need to have this part as well. I can imagine a lot of Aquarius people putting their little baby into this to the basement. They don't want it. They don't want to hear the cries. They want to be efficient. They want to be able to be machines, masters, being able to work really hard, to not feel their feelings, to be able to go against your own feelings and to accomplish something. But here it's a soul retrieval. You need to get back your inner child, the vulnerable part of you that's actually your compass. If you put a needle inside his watery bulb here, that will show you the direction. So that's how important this page is. If you disregard your feelings, you don't know where you are going to end up or where you are going to go. Your emotions is always giving you the right way with their compass, like a road sign. You will feel maybe completely aloof and whatever, and I can take care of myself, I enjoy myself, life is wonderful. And then you wake up one morning and you feel like crying and life is not so nice. And then you need to listen, because this inner child has a message to you about your compass needle. Something needs to be adjusted, something needs to be understood, something needs maybe to be picked up from your basement. You need to have connection with your subconscious, because it has like all your wisdom, and it can calculate things by night that you are not being able to calculate even with the world's greatest computer. But in one night's sleep, and you wake up and you have this feeling, and it has found out something, not that's going to be scary, but that's going to be helpful. So it's time to listen to your needs, listen to your feelings, listen to your hunches, listen to your guesses. This little inner child is, it's like this little wise entity inside of you that kind of is all-knowing but very fragile. The next card is the Queen of Swords, so that's probably you, usually Libra. You have Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, air sign female here. Doesn't have to be a female, it can be a masculine person, and being very connected with the feminine side, and therefore having a straight hotline to the divine, because it goes through their body and through the emotions. You have both the masculine kind of queens here, so the Amazonas warrior kind of queens. So I guess you are on a battle, probably a battle to find yourself because of the Hermit and the Tower here. Finding yourself in your road towards healing, becoming more individualistic, separating yourself from your group, because you need to define yourself and maybe also relocate and find another group where you're more suitable, or you have a work to do with them. It's like sometimes we separate from others that we have been with for a long time because our work is done. You have the Tower here, something old, something that you thought were stable just collapsed one day. That can be one thing. But you also have the King of Wands here, strength, and Queen of Swords. So there might be some real passionate love that's really hard to get rid of. It's very deeply rooted and it's connected to your soul. So there might be some kind of connection here between male or female, or a fire person and an air person, that's not easily disregarded, because you have a connection that's about your soul and about your soul's growth. And if you miss someone, you wanted maybe to be self-sufficient, but then you start missing someone, it might indicate that there's still lessons to be learned here. You also have this King of Coins together with the Page of Cups, showing that your inner child needs the father figure, stability, like you need to be able to take yourself home and care for yourself, and kind of, well, don't mind the other persons, don't take things they do personally, because as I said, this entity is fragile. The Queen of Swords, she wants to sometimes step away from people. You also have the Hermit card here. Both those are kind of hermits. And you have the Six of Coins here. So there's some kind of willingness to do the right thing. But you feel it's a bit judgmental of other people. You don't believe them to be able to meet you halfway. You are feeling a little bit shy here, actually. And a little bit sad. There's a reason to why you have been the way you have been, why you have been over-controlled and not wanting to be passionate and not wanting to feel your feelings and not wanting to have contact with your inner child. It's because it's scary. And when you are like fully alive and not just like very stale and mummified, you actually risk something. When you have blood pumping in your veins, you will start feeling things. So you're a little bit scared here. There's a little bit hesitation. There was a reason to why you got those survival skills in the first place. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying that it's going to be worth it to go outside your comfort zone, taking in more of your dormant personality skill that's more alive and more... They are going to bring more life in your life, but of course also more sorrow. It's if you have lived like a flatline life, there's going to be pulse now, and pulse is going up and it's going down, up and down. So you need to live like your full life, laugh all your laughter and cry all your tears. You're not here to become a flatline and kind of just survive. It's not supposed to be that way. So here you have a Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords with the Devil and the Tower might indicate Capricorn person that is going to put some havoc in your life. But anyway, it's your shadow. It's your shadow that you are going to start to see. You don't want to. I see this. You're keeping your eyes very closed. But the veil has fallen. The dust here, the fog is kind of going away. So if you just open your eyes, you will now see the reality, and the reality can be gruesome. You might have put yourself on some high horses and pretended that someone loved you that actually didn't. They just were there and they abused you. But they were there in that case to show you this, to make you aware. And when you are getting sometimes humiliated like this, seeing the reality not through your pink glasses, but the reality as it really is, it might be very humiliating and it might be destroying your ego. But that's exactly what you have been working on here with the queens and the hermit kind of archetypes. This is what you want anyway. You want a reality check. You want to be able to see the reality as it is and to be able to make a new decision, a decision made in reality, in the truth, not in the way that you wanted them to be, but in the way that they actually are. And this again indicates personality change. Things that kind of rules that you have lived by, they are not going to be there anymore. It's your old backbone going, and it's going to be replaced with something new, something else. And here comes a little fiery child. So it seems to be very fiery era for you right now, Aquarius. Leo has gone in the North Node and you have gone into the South Node, and you're also, as I told you, you are in the 5th house of joy and spontaneous self-expression and risk-taking. So the Page of Wands is exactly what you need. This one, she doesn't want to stay at home. She doesn't want to have boring time. She wants out. She wants to have fun. She wants to have people in her life. She doesn't want to listen to stupid radio or old documentary shows. She wants to live fully. If there should be any adventure, it shouldn't be on the telly. So the Page of Wands is a gift to you. It's your soul that wants to do something, and it's like a little bit teenage revolution, because you have there's another vision for your life. You have a greater dream, and it's time to start to dream that, even though it separates you from what's known for you and what's comfortable and how people know you. They are not going to know you. Soon you are going to be someone totally different, someone totally new. And they will say, who are you and what have you done with? So, but this is you fulfilling your life's dream. You're going to do this now. You're not going to wait and live another day. Life is now. The clock is ticking here. So, you have got this precious gift. You're not in a hurry. We shouldn't hurry. Hurry is a bad word, but we should live and do fun things, not things that we push ourselves to do because we don't want to waste time, but things we actually want to do. It can be sitting by a pond a whole day, if that's what you want. Find out what you want. It doesn't have to be the same thing that everyone else wants. The Hermit is very individualistic, finding their own way through the crowd. And the Leo, all the fire that you have here, is not a sheep in a flock. It's something else, something that has his own agenda and its own, it's being, not wanting to be like everyone else. So this is the Oracle of Visions by Zero Marchetti. It's the same artist that have done this. Okay, so you're a fiery priest goddess that's going to fight for peace. Beautiful. You see all this fire here. And we see the headgear also here. I think you're waking up your passionate beating heart. And it's not just emotions, it's more than that. It's like your life's longing for itself. And it's like forgiving mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. You need to be alive, but don't perfect. And you can also forgive people for not being perfect and not being the person that you wanted them to. Maybe she is about to say, okay, I understand you, I'm sorry, and I love you either way, and then free this bird. So if you need to let people go now, let them go with grace. Don't let them go with harsh words. Let go of control. You can't change another person anyway, and what they do is not about you. It's about their conscious level. So find this kind of love and let this go. And this redness is talking about your future. There's a greater vision for you. There's something else coming that's much better, that's much more full of life. So end things with grace and forgive if you are able to. Forgiveness is just good for you. It's not so much for the other person. It's just for you, not living in the past, but being able to live here and now, not telling bad stories for yourself. So I want to see the past here. What is it that you have been digging up from the basement? Okay. So of course it's a child. We have the Page of Cups here and the Page of Wands. And why this child is now coming up is because it thinks that you are responsible enough to take care of it. You have those two now. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. These people are talking bluntly and maybe a little bit bitchy for the sake of nice people. Sometimes power people like this, they are just talking to keep power, and to keep power where power should be, like with the powerful people. Those queens are revolutionary. They are doing things that's good for everyone. So they are not afraid to stand up for authority, before authority, and say words of truth. Like, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. And this, if you do this, fragile little beings like this are finally being able to see that the world might be a just place where I want to live, or at least I want to try. And as long as you are sticking up for your inner child, the inner child will stay. But don't fail. Don't fail it. Don't let people step all over you. Become very emotionally loving and grounded, and still like, it's going to be my way. And this is going to be a very nurturing place for your inner child to start to live their life and live your life mission. Okay, my dear Aquarius, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care. And I also want to thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting splendidly beautiful on my channel. It's really heightening the energy vibration with this love that you're sharing here. So I hope to see you again in the beginning of July. Okay, bye-bye.